Happy Tuesday. So, it's Tips Tuesday, and I was thinking about this morning what I wanted to bring to you for tips. And I thought back on the week. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to bring 5 people to Trader Joe's. 1 or 2 may have visited Trader Joe's in the past. So, the majority of people that I met up with yesterday walked into a Trader Joe's for the first time. And to me, it was an opportunity to kind of teach them about inexpensive, organic ingredients, eating cleaner, trying some plant-based options, and just kind of looking at food and ingredients differently. And one of my clients that came, he had mentioned something about, I believe it said BAI, B-A-I. There are these fancy looking detox drinks, antioxidant, infusion drinks. And I said, it's not at Trader Joe's. I said, send me the ingredients. We'll take a look at it, And before he got to me, I found the ingredients and I did a little research. And I know there was a reason why I never really touched them, but I'm reading the ingredients online, and there's trademarked ingredients in there. Now, there's lines to all of this, but when I see trademarked ingredients, you have to wonder what you're drinking. And then you do a teeny bit more research. You know who owns this company of expensive infused drinks? Snapple, Dr Pepper. They both work together to bring you trademarked ingredients. So, yes, it might be 5 calories, but if you're not reading the ingredients, you are not reading the right stuff. In my opinion, it's all about the food we're eating. You're better off drinking a little bit more of calories than drinking some processed food that other people can't even try to make. It's kind of weird. So, standing around talking to people yesterday, coconut cream came up, and it came up again today too. I was talking with my accountability partner, a friend who has been doing some of these 30-day challenges with me and working together and checking in every week. I do that for many people, and we do that for each other. And she mentioned that, using coconut cream might not be something that many people are used to. And it brought me back to yesterday where I'm standing there and having a conversation about when you open this coconut cream, right? Often when you open it, if it's just made with coconut milk or cream, it's coconut and water, basically, right? It's the amount of coconut to make it cream versus milk. So this is a teeny bit more expensive than the milk, but it's so much better, in my opinion. What I do is I take it and I put it under hot water. There's usually, depending on the temperature, if it's warm out, it's a liquid. But if it's cold out, no joke, like coconut oil or coconut cream will get hard. So it'll get hard around the outside. You warm it up, you put it into a glass jar, put the cover on top of that, put it in the fridge. And you got 5 days with that. I was reading, she asked me, I said, I usually keep about 5 to 7 days, and they said 5 to 7 days. So that's tip 2. Tip 3. I think I had mentioned in the past that when I heard that there's a percentage of bugs and branches allowed in your ground coffee, that means whenever you get coffee from 7-Eleven or Starbucks or wherever, you don't know exactly what you're drinking. And true, it's a bean, when I get my beans, I'm not 100% either, but it's a bean and I can figure out the rest. There's no bugs that are attached to that all. So what I do is I ground my own organic coffee and I put it into these little recyclable, this one broke, that's how much I use them, in here. But I was talking to a bunch of clients about fasting, and when you fast, You really are not supposed to put anything in your coffee. Now, I did when I was losing my weight, so I'm not going to tell anybody not to, but I've read where it's, if you're eating something or drinking something that's 50 calories or less, then it doesn't break your fast. But if you do go on the premise that you should drink black coffee or tea or water, what I do is I put some cinnamon, or Trader Joe's makes like a pumpkin pie. Another option is cacao. It's without the sugar, so it's without the calories, and it's a spice. So I think it's a spice. So I put it in there and I run that. That's tip 3. Read ingredients. And here's another reason why. There is 75 names for sugar. And when you're reading a paragraph on the back of your processed food, there's usually 5 to 7 different names in that one paragraph that is sugars. There's sucroses and fructoses. There's all sorts of different names, even down to molasses. There's 75 different names for sugar. And you may want to consider, if you're reading a paragraph, that there might be like 5 to 7, even if you're not familiar with them all. And I'll put the list underneath. It's interesting. I find it interesting. But that might be something you need to consider. Also, when you're reading this big paragraph, hopefully it's getting smaller and smaller and you're eating cleaner. But when you're reading it, what you're reading at the top has the most ingredients. So if like the second ingredient is sugar, that is the majority of that sugar, right? And then if you don't know what the rest of the paragraph is, pretty sure most of that is sugar. So that's something else to consider when you're reading ingredients. Last tip is water. I have been trying to get so much better with water. Being mindful, when I'm doing my Zoom class, I make sure that when I'm looking at the time, 15 minutes, bam, I make my group stop, we take a sip of water, we get back to it. And my goal is to instill that into my clients, and I want to remind you. So one of the ways that you can do that, I'm reading all sorts of ways, you can put rubber bands on your water bottle, and as you're drinking it, you can take, each of the bands off. Set an alarm. You have your phone on you all the time. You can just set it for a few times during the day. Another one is, I've heard this, and I don't know if I would want to do this, like every time you go to the bathroom, drink a bottle of water. I'm like, that doesn't sound so great, but somebody might consider that one. So those are my 5 tips since it's Tuesday. And I wanted to mention one more thing. This morning I was listening to tips on how to save. It just popped up on my YouTube. Money on electric, and they were talking about the plugs and the power strips and lowering your temperature and that type of stuff. And then they said cold water, which then I remembered, like, oh, I just bought a bunch of these, right? This is True Earth. These are strips. I want to show you this. Right? Strips. And this is one wash. They smell so good. And the reason why, of course, this popped up on my Facebook, scrolling around going, oh. And then this popped up. And it intrigued me so much. I contacted the company, and they do have, I became a wholesaler. Because to me, when you can sell something like this to replace a big bottle of detergent with chemicals and everything that we don't know about, or you can wash your clothes with something like this and chuck this into your garbage, I wanted to try this. And what's pretty cool about it is, I wasn't sure, because I know there's hot and cold and all that. This is hot and cold. So all week, all month, since I bought this, I've been using it on hot cycle, and starting today, I'm gonna try it on the cold cycle and save myself some money and some environment. So if you're interested in it, I will be posting it in one of my groups, and I hope that you have a great Tuesday, and I'll chat with you tomorrow. Bye.